Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Barak to all you brethren out there, you sisters. Dabanas to the apostles. This is your brother Elder Ayathan back at you with another video. I'm going to go right ahead and play this video I got here on the screen, and I'll be back afterwards.
That's who they're protecting. America, guys, you have no freedom left. You have no rights. No rights at all.
And this is what you guys do?
No freedom and no rights.
Arrested on what charges? Did anybody read that?
No, I was not read my rights.
You don't need Miranda rights when they wait your stay.
My rights.
This is bullshit.
That's who they're protecting. America, guys, you have no freedom left. You have no rights.
Okay, so what you witnessed there is, it says it right there, multiple people arrested in NYC for trying to eat in Applebee's without a vaccine passport. Now, this popped, well actually one of the bishops shared this video. It's like, let me turn on notifications on my phone. Let me turn this off so it doesn't disturb the lesson. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. All right, so multiple people arrested in NYC for trying to eat in Applebee's without a vaccine passport. These people are not posing any real threats to anybody in the establishment. As you can see, they're leaving peaceably, right? They're arresting them. They didn't read them the rights, but they're not causing any riots. They're not acting out of order. So you see this, and then you get articles like this. Now this is 2021. The numbers of shootings and victims have risen drastically in 2021, with a 59.6% hike in the number of people shot and a 64% increase in the number of incidents compared to the same period last year, according to the stats. Police investigating after a person was shot, blah, blah, blah. Then you got other articles. 2021, December 17th, which was yesterday. New York City outgoing police commissioner Dermot Shea says criminals feel emboldened after defund police effort. Now, there was a article one of the brothers in New York sent, and basically one of the city officials admitted that it's pretty much a purge going on in New York, a real life purge, because people are out of luck with this whole C-19 thing going on. People are out of work, and crime has increased. So you got to ask yourself, if there's not enough police officers and violence is increasing, why are all these police officers over here for people that are in the Applebee's eating peaceably because they didn't show their passport? So then you go to the scriptures. All the answers are in the scriptures. And scripture that came to my mind was Revelation 13. So let's read Revelation 13. The 11th verse in particular. And then we're going to show this, how this is a real life example. And this is going to help you understand what Revelation 13 and 11 means. So starting at 10 says, He leadeth into captivity. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And then verse 11, I'm just going to go straight to the point. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now the beast represents NATO and the system that we're in, but this is basically just a rehash of the Roman Empire. There's a rehash of the Roman Empire. And it says he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Now the two horns like a lamb means that here in Babylon, we have the Democratic Party, then we have the Republican Party. Which, if you look at a lamb has two horns on it, right? But it's part of the same lamb. So the Republican and Democratic Party, They seem like two opposing forces, which a horn represents power or force, but it's part of the same body. So it's an illusion of choice. It's a trick, it's a smokescreen, it's a veil. So it has two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now what that means is that the dragon represents what? Represents draconian legislature. And a dragon, the symbol of a dragon represents power and strength. And it represents protection, it represents tyranny, the draconian legislature. And it's basically a protective measure. You know, if you look at like mythology, a dragon always protects the gateway to another dimension, or it's a entrance to like a higher realm of something. So anyway, what we'll do here is let's look up dragon. I got draconian. Well, let's look up draconian first, since I got it here. Draconian, excessively harsh and severe. So these are excessively harsh and severe what? Laws, legislation. The scriptures also say, woe to them who write unrighteous decrees. That's this draconian legislature. Now, if you look at the synonyms, harsh, drastic, severe, strict, extreme, tough, cruel, brutal, oppressive. This is pretty cruel for people who have not shown their vaccine passport. And also, I believe after December 27th, 2 days after so-called Christmas, that the mayor vowed that anybody that has not taken the DART, the C-19 DART, that they will be excommunicated out of New York. They will not be able to find any jobs. Now that's pretty harsh. Meanwhile, you got all of this going on. Okay? So I'm going to come back to this point in a minute, because I got a point to prove there. So it says, draconian, of laws or their application, excessively harsh and severe. Then we go to draconian here, another definition, law. Again, remember, woe to them who write unrighteous decrees. Woe means destruction. Law, of relating to or characteristics of Draco, or the severe code of laws held to have been framed by him. So let's read down. Draconian comes from Draco, the name of a 7th century BC Athenian legislature who created a written code of law. Draco's law code was intended to clarify existing laws, but its severity is what made it really memorable. According to the code, even minor offenses were punishable by death, and failure to pay one's debts could result in slavery. Draconian, as a result, became associated with especially authoritative actions that are viewed as cruel or harsh. Now, if you don't think this is cruel or harsh, well, you're not really up on a full spectrum of what they've been doing. They've got concentration camps. They've got prisons set up for anybody that does not adhere to their draconian laws. So that's pretty harsh. Then it says spake as a dragon. Dragon, a huge serpent, a mythical animal usually represented as a monstrous winged and scaly serpent. Blah, blah, blah. Verse 3, a violent, combative, or very strict person. Now, when you look up in the scriptures, now this one just popped in my head. Here, let's get this. We'll go back to Revelation in a minute. How many results is here? I don't remember exactly. Is that it? Isaiah 5:15. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. So let me go back to that. Now Esau would represent what? A mean man. Right? Going back to this definition. It says a violent, combative, or very strict person. That's what? Who? Esau. Something or someone formidable or baneful. Now, formidable means what? Can I get the definition here? Hold on. I can't do it on the mobile. Hold on. Let's look up formidable. Formidable. A very strong or powerful, deserving serious attention and respect. So is Esau not a formidable opponent? When you read Isaiah, it says that the Most High raised up Esau against a hypocritical nation, which is who? The nation of Israel. This is Isaiah, the 10th chapter. Isaiah, the 10th chapter. Read the whole entire chapter. I'm not going to read it now. But the whole chapter goes into how formidable Esau is. A formidable opponent. And then it says baneful. Now, if you look at baneful, what does baneful mean? Baneful. Productive of destruction or woe. Seriously harmful. Now, when Trump was in office, there was a reporter that asked him about the C-19 dart and said, how are you going to administer the dart? And he said, we're going to have the military do it, and the military is going to do it in a very fast and effective way. So Esau's law is this is a formidable opponent. Okay? Now this is going to my next point. My next point is, this shows you who are the cops really protecting? The police officers. Where are their interests? Because according to this, there's a lot of crimes going on in the street. And their mantra is to protect and to serve. But you got to ask yourself, these are real threats. These criminals, these are real threats. Are these people eating peaceably in a restaurant without their passport? They probably wore their mask walking in, wore their mask when they sat down, took it off when they sat at the table, just like everybody else. But because they didn't show a passport, they're being arrested. A passport does not prove anything. Right? So you got to ask yourself, who are they really representing? Well, when you look at their shield, right? Here's a police officer's shield. This is nothing but a Rothschild shield. The Rothschild family, if you see here. So who owns the police officers? They're owned by the elites. These are the personal centurions and guards of the elites. And these police officers are there to protect and to serve the interests of the elites. You see this? Now there's different versions of it. But there you go. This is the badge of the Rothschilds. So these police officers, the reason why they're not attending to rapes and murders, you know, if anybody gets shot and they call 911 or call a police officer, it's going to take them a while to get there. But the police officers arrived right away and got these people out of there. You know how I know they got there right away? Because they actually got there and escorted them out before they had a chance to finish their food, because they would have left already. So they got there quick. Meanwhile, people are getting shot up all over the place in New York. There's a purge going on. So it shows you this is not the elite's interest. The elite's interest is what? Is to pass their, is to get their agenda going. Okay? And they do this by the draconian legislature. Again, back to Revelation. 2 horns like a lamb. Now let's go into that. A lamb is what? Humble. A lamb is humble, and he seems harmless. So who do they have now passing these draconian measures? They got this old guy, you know, seemingly looking old and harmless, Joe Biden, you know, and they mock him. They make fun of him. The White House discreetly amends Biden's speech transcript after he referred to President Harris. You know, they'll show this guy bumbling and fumbling over his words, and this old, helpless guy with amnesia. But meanwhile, he's putting out the worst legislation that has ever existed, because this is nothing but the manifestation of Revelation 13 and 11. And he spake as a dragon. So according to this guy's speech, that they're doing this to protect the people. All this is to protect the people. Oh no, forget about the criminals and the violence that's uprising. Oh no. This is how we really protect the people. We arrest people that are not following or pushing our agenda. So do you see? So let's read Revelation 13 again, and now it should make sense. 13:11, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and the beast is what this whole modern NATO system today. And look, the whole entire world is following this agenda, because the elites, pursuant to Job 9:24, they rule the entire world. They own the globe. That is a blessing that was given to them by the Most High. That is a prince that ruleth this world right now. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the beast before him, because it's nothing but an extension of the Roman Empire. And the ancient Roman Empire also had their own version of NATO, with the ancient powers during that time that they were allied with. So this current system we're in is a rehash of the Roman Empire. It's an extension. You know, it's like when you have a movie and it ends and then there's a part 2 to be continued. This is part 2. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, it's talking about the White House here. If you look up the White House, let's see, we got an image of the White House. This looks like this is Roman architecture. Okay? This right here is Roman architecture, because this is nothing but the extension of the Roman Empire. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shalom. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Shalom.